peace, peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now it's pretty cold out here in Louisiana. But I'm picking up that sources like wanting us to make that transition into becoming the news media, you know, on the spiritual level. 'Cause I'm starting to see like how, a lot of us starting to touch on certain topics almost as if we're the news in essence. But like, that's what's needed for right now. Again, starting to realize, not having no identity, like not having no identity with, a certain egoic position and stuff like that, where you have to be, fluent and flexible. But I want to talk on this. Matter of fact, this came to me like I was laying down. This came to me before my meditation. I'm like, damn, it's really that important. But more so, I see why as I started getting the little analogies and stuff. It's like, again, some of us articulate ourselves well, and it just helps when more than one of us touching on these subjects to make people realize the situation. Because then you start to see if Infinite said something, and blue pill, red pill said something, and over here somebody, what I'm saying, like you'll get that, all right. Not to say just because we saying something, but again, you'll see the correlation in all of us speaking up. But like, recently, if you're unfamiliar, Kevin Hart had, got kicked from being the host of the Oscars, and what their stance point was if you don't erase some old ass tweets from the past, that you already apologized about. If you don't, and when he said apologize, and didn't have to apologize about too, but some old tweets of the past. And what I mean by didn't have to apologize is the fact not only being a comedian, but being somebody that's, expressing yourself on the joke level. A joke is a joke. Now, of course, if he meant it malicious, which he did apologize, so maybe he did mean it maliciously or whatever, I don't know. I never looked at the tweet or whatever, and but again, the Oscars was like, if you don't apologize and erase this tweet about homosexuality, you're not going to be on our show, And just getting straight to it, you're seeing more and more again where they are trying to promote this vibe of like, if you're not in support of homosexuality, then you must be against it. You know what I'm saying? And again, this is where too they plan on a divide and conquer vibes, and they plan on people's egos, and that's why it's so important for us to get out of our egos. Because say, for instance, a homosexual person that's not in their ego, like, oh man, Kevin Hart ain't had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't tripping off of it because they understand what's going on. They understand the bigger picture. They understand that it's more than their identity as a homosexual person. What we dealing with is much greater, you know what I'm saying? And again, we talking about like, jokes and stuff. It's like if a homosexual comedian makes a joke about heterosexual people, and we all like get together and be like, hey, you can't be on TV because you made a joke about heterosexual people. They're like, nah, it was a joke, bro. Y'all tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing that serious. But again, they trying to create this vibe of, activating the ego, the identification system of, homosexual people, in the essence of, that vibe of like, well, yeah, you should make like to the point where you almost can't even talk about homosexuality. Like they're trying to get it to where, like, oh, if you say anything about it, you're mean, bad, or evil. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, y'all not about to intrude on my freedom of speech and freedom of expression in that manner, And again, that's why America is promoting, the homosexual rights. They playing on that ego, of the homosexual people, in essence. They do it with many different groups. Just like the Republicans was trying to turn Mexicans into white people. You know what I'm saying? It's like they try to, and so on the flip side, we all could be looking at, so say if they have black people and other people like, look at the Mexican. You know what I'm saying? Like have us against each other when it's they the ones who trying to, start the shit. So also realize that too. Like, it's not about no, not for us to get on no back and forth against each other type of vibes either. Like again, like man, I have family members who, homosexual. I got people I know, man. I got brethren, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that's a part of the battle too. It's like, bruh, we got dumped with fetal estrogen and crack cocaine and all kind of pills and vaccinations. You know, the doctor was slapping us on our ass and rubbing antibiotics in our eyes as soon as we came out the womb. It's so much trauma, so much chemical warfare. So as like if you are damaged from that, like whether it's homosexuality or some type of deform, like we all done, had to go through this too. So understanding that we all souls in this little battle, you know what I'm saying? And some of our body suits took a harder hit than others, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the chemical warfare aspect, because there is a fact that fetal estrogen is pumped in your Similac. So say for instance, that's why some people come out maybe feeling like they're naturally gay, because before they could even talk, they were being pumped with fetal estrogen. So, and as soon as they were able to talk, it's like, but shit, ever since I first started talking, I was, like this, I felt like that. But yeah, that's because they, your mama didn't give you her natural milk, and not knocking anybody's parents, because again, everybody been duped by all this bullshit and misinformation. But you was pumped fetal estrogen, I don't know if my mama fed me Similac all the time or not, but I could have been, what I'm saying, and just my body suit, my energy strong enough, like, on a certain type of mission, again, because that's another thing too, where I see that's also a soul, a soul mission, as far as like that's a part of what happened, what I'm saying. So it must be some type of karmic energy to deal with. But again, back to it on the Hollywood part too, again, they promote these vibes and you're starting to see it more and more. Terry Crews getting this, somebody touching on Terry Crews at a party, and again, I just finished doing videos talk about too how they aim at the sacral chakra, aim at your emotions when they're trying to manipulate you, and they also trying to get to be able to mind control people. They got to throw off your yin and yang balance. They got to throw off your masculine feminine balance. They're trying to have you all the way logical, all the way on your masculine side, or all the way feminine, all the way intuitive on your feminine side. And that's how they could, manipulate you and mind control you. But again, with the Kevin Hart vibe, and so and now we know, again, you're starting to see more and more the Oscars and all these things that we sit here and support, like what type of game they playing, like, bro, really, like somebody having to apologize. And then two, you start to see though, shout out to Cat Williams been, and then again you see how Cat Williams the one who keep it real. Then he's always in the news, oh, he got in a fight with a little kid, or this happened, that happened, because he keeping it real. So the media, and since he keeping it real against the people who run the media, they could run the story, so they gonna run whatever fucked up story, just like they teeting the line, like, because Kevin Hart playing their game, they ain't fucking all the way over, but they like, all right, Kevin Hart, you gotta really show your loyalty to this Greco-Roman Empire, you know what I'm saying? Because again, that's where the homosexuality again promoted and stem from too, this behind the scenes skull and bones frat, men playing with men little vibe that's promoted by the the people who started this corporation called America. Can't call them founding fathers. People been on this globe before they was even around here. They ain't found shit. And we not the rebels. We the ones being true to ourselves. We the ones who realize we have to, we are God on a human experience, dissolving our egos and not completely, you know, dissolving the harmful aspects of the ego, but you know, so we could soulfully grow. We know what time it is. We doing what we got to do. They are rebelling, not us. You know, so also getting to a point again, like really keeping it real about the wordplay. Like I'm not a fucking rebel. They fucking rebelling. They got a problem with God, not me. So I'm not the one rebelling. And it's very important that we all speak on that level, like, you know, to get it clear. Like stop blaming ourselves for, you know, again, perfect example, like with that calling yourself a rebel. That's like me saying something extremely truthful and apologizing. I'll be like, man, I don't mean to be blunt. Like, yes, I mean to be blunt. That's the only, like, we are here to be 100% truthful with each other. We're not here to be faking and lying with each other. You know, like on a true soulful level, you know, again, that's where that ego come into play and twist things. You know, but just because somebody make a joke, like I done made a joke, matter of fact, just recently, you know, about like how people with the new age movement be in denial and you don't want to pay attention to negativity, you gotta turn, look the other way. And you know, and I use a comparison, matter of fact, because Mark Passio brought that up, like you putting your head in the sand. You know, it's no coincidence that you have to be on your knees with your ass in the air, you know, in a position, a very vulnerable position where somebody could ram one up, you know what I'm saying? And it's a fact that, you know, they trying to create a soy boy. So not only with the fetal estrogen, you know, being pumped through the Similac, but through everything you see, that soy is pumped through everything. That's why healthy, real healthy foods be like, hey, and we ain't got no soy. We're not trying to genetically turn you into throw your hormones off. You know what I'm saying? We the real healthy food. You know, fuck with us. You know, and that's why again they make the real healthy food. You know, is expensive, and the other food is cheap because they want you to eat all the little, you know, the little dollar burgers and all that. Got all that soy and artificial shit pumped in it. You know, throw off your hormones. This is a fact, you know. And again, only a homosexual person in their ego will have to be, oh no, that's not true. You just want to talk bad about gay people. Like, get the fuck out of here. You see, again, that's ego. That's unhealthy ego. That is not somebody, again, because, and that's why I word things the way I word it, to where somebody that would get mad at my videos would have to be obviously in their ego, you know, identifying overly, you know. Because again, if somebody made a statement about melanated people, like melanated people might do this and that, before you know, I'm not identifying with it, so let me see if this is true, or let me, you know, because the government might be trying to, you know, pump us up to fuck over everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like how they doing with homosexuality, pumping homosexuality up to fuck over the rest of the people, you know. So as a homosexual person, you gotta step out of your identity and be like, well, nah, this ain't right, man. The government using us to fuck over everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, we, you know, they ain't right. You know, like, of course, you know, we want rights, but not at the expense of fucking over everybody else in the globe. You know, or the realm. Excuse me. Don't want to go there. But you know, and that's the whole thing. Like, if so on that side of, like, if the government was pushing something like, oh yeah, we want to do all this for the melanated people, this and that, but it was to fuck over or throw off, you know, to create a divide and conquer situation, I would stand back and make a video like, hey y'all, be aware that the government trying to tickle the ego of melanated people and trying to get us to be in our ego to have us go against, you know, the grain and fuck up the whole situation, y'all. Like, you know, let's be aware. Let's step out of our egos a little bit. Let's stop identifying with these external conditions. You know, let's start just internalizing and knowing, like, hold on, I'm a soul on a human experience. You know, before I started saying I like this or I do this, I do, you know, like, hold on, before I start identifying with things, let me take it to this myriad space. You know, not way over here in the city, not way over here in alkalinity, but just kind of like, you know, observe from no extremes. Just observe, you know. Because again, that's the name of the game. You know, especially that little slick, that's a little slick way of divide and conquer. But but again, you see how important like the little disinformation with truth, like whatever the little parts of the New Age movement talking about dissolving our ego. That's the fact. That's why I always point to the power of now. No matter, because of course there's fishiness with somebody being promoted heavily, with that type of information. And like I said in my other video, like from Eckhart Tolle, the most I get on him probably, again, not saying he purposely doing anything or whatever, but like the reason why they would allow for him to be on such a grand stage, because maybe his quietness, his quiet demeanor may give off a subconscious program of being docile. So maybe they like, well, even though he's spitting some real shit, because he has this docile nature about it, again, your subconscious is being programmed by that. Of course, you're not like sitting there paying attention, like, look how quiet he is, but your subconscious is watching that and indirectly telling itself, well, all right, that's what spirituality looks like. Somebody's talking quiet and smooth and, and just never seems like they would ever get angry at anything. You know what I'm saying? So, again, not because his information definitely, again, helps on so many levels. But again, that's why everything is so important about being in the now, and also again not being run by your egoic mind or identifying. Again, we do have a healthy level of our ego where we identify with our bodysuits just enough to know that when I get hungry, instead of putting a spoon in somebody's mouth over here, I know that, wait, hold on, this is my bodysuit that's hungry. I need to feed this bodysuit. Like a healthy enough ego, literally, for you to take care of your health in essence. Like, like that's enough. The ego is for you to identify with your body enough to take care of it and not just to put it in, harm's way, quote unquote. But other than that, like everything else is overly identifying, when you step into a place of forgetting that, wait, hold on, I'm a soul on a human experience, But, a shout out to Kevin Hart for it, not falling all the way in. But again, back to the Cat Williams, Cat Williams was coming out speaking on all this shit, and you start to see the trends, the people who do what they want them to do. Oh, they good. They not doing nothing in the news because they're part of the agenda. You know what I'm saying? Secretly, I ain't gonna lie too. That's how to a certain extent. And again, not claiming people down with it purposely out for show, but when people are squeaky clean in the news, or the news makes them look like angels, that must mean they doing something that helps push forward their agenda. I mean, it's kind of like a Oprah. Like Oprah plays defense heavy. Like really, like she all the way be pushing shit for them, and then she'll fuck around and throw a little, what I'm saying, throw a bone to people, what I'm saying, on some real shit, letting you know, about like, little aspects about, doing what you love and stuff like that, and manifestation, throw a little bit out, but for the most part, it's mixed in with the bullshit, But yeah, you just see how that works. Like, if you don't support our agenda, Kevin Hart, if you don't support it fully, we're gonna kick you out of our little group. You've seen it with everybody. Eddie Murphy. Matter of fact, and two, that's why they throw these little parties too. Like, whether it's just sex in general or on a homosexual level, to have like little blackmail. Well, of course they promoting it on a certain level too. But it's also to have something against the people. So when they go to acting up, they be like, oh wait, we got these pictures from this party you must have forgot about. Oh man, oh my goodness, I don't know if you want these to hit TMZ. And that's the whole thing. That's why, again, in any advice for anybody that's, you know, wanting to be in entertainment, or, just realize source, everything is in divine order. You could become that actor or whoever, entertain on a high level without having to go through that bullshit, you know. Like how some veterans too I see with the music, like still looking to sign them for majors. Like, bro, haven't you learned by now, that majors ain't nothing but taking your money, just promoting. But then again, I see that though, that reason why some people still look in the majors, because, in essence, it's still lost in the sauce of thinking like, oh yeah, I want to just be on TV and this and that. I don't give a fuck if they taking all my money and, having me promote these things that's fucking over, our soul ascension, fuck it. I just want to be on the label and this, and you know what I'm saying? But with YouTube, with all these different platforms, and which YouTube ain't the, YouTube playing the fence itself. Speaking of playing the fence, YouTube allowed for us to have a platform to speak, so I'm grateful for that though. At least they allow for us to, speak and have a platform, and not all the way with the bullshit, But then they are partially with the bullshit, because here it is where I make a video researching, we're researching in a gnosis about Stanley Kubrick and the moon landing, but then they feel like they could stamp something on top of my video as if I'm lying, as if I'm stupid or hadn't did research, and that's very disrespectful, YouTube, I might say, and it's very brainwashing, for somebody, for y'all to try to overlap research with some information from the Britannica, again, from people who's known for trying to turn us into slaves and trying to control our mind. You're going to funnel people to a source of people who feed us the bullshit, but again, because this little vibe, it's gonna become more and more obvious, and that's why sources are asking for us to be, like the news, like, cause some of us are, are able to articulate ourselves well on these subjects, and we are people that have a certain vibe where people understand already that we are about the truth. We are about, the knowledge and righteousness. We not trying to persuade people or throw an agenda over people's eyes, so that's why it's important for us in the spiritual community. Again, not trying to really label this and that, but just for lack of a better word, but that's why a lot of us being asked to be like the news, to cover these situations just as if we the news, because the news running through it on teleprompter, they all got the same message, from local news up to CNN. They all regurgitating Kevin Hart didn't want to beat to the Oscars, and what they're all doing is just like the slave master whipping. So this is literally what this is. Just like the slave master will whip a certain slave in front of everybody as an example. On a parallel to that, the media is gonna be like that slave master whipping that ass, like whipping Kevin Hart for everybody to see. You see what happens when you don't be a part of our homosexual agenda? You don't get to be the host of the Oscars. Which that shit lose all their little shows losing its vibe because of how obvious it is of what they dealing, So they just making it more and more obvious, but because they not giving up on pushing their agenda, they have to do things that, even though it may make it seem obvious of what they're doing, they still got to do it, because that's all they know. You know what I'm saying? All they know is to just try to do a little bullshit like that. So even though it's becoming obvious what people could see, like, all right, damn, this shit crazy. Like, but again, even like homosexual people, like, nah, bro, that's fucked up. Y'all stupid. How the fuck you gonna go back to somebody tweet when they was probably 11 years old? I'm bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But like, go back to somebody past and pull up a tweet. Like, how much tweets, how much stuff, how many tweets I done had. Like, bro, I can't wait till they would, but which I don't get down with that, so they not gonna do that to me. Because again, you could only be taken down if by a certain power, if that certain power has power in your life. Like, you know, say for instance, Hollywood, the media has given Kevin Hart that power, so they could take it away. You know what I'm saying? Compared to somebody like me, where you know, I'm gonna be me throughout, and my power not gonna be through any of that. So, you know, if somebody's like, well, look at this old tweet, I'll be like, oh, look at all of them, bring them all up. Shit, hell, I'll go and print out a copy for you. Start with my first tweet. Like, I don't give a fuck. That has nothing to do with, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, this tweet says, all right. And matter of fact, you see, we living in the times, bruh, where they looking at a tweet. Like the president tweet, like that's something important, you know. Think about that, you know what I'm saying? How foolish that is, you know. And then, you know, you got this president talking about grabbing on pussy and tweeting and all this other shit. But go vote, y'all, because your vote make a difference, you know. Because if you would have go voted, you would have had Freddy Krueger instead of Jason. You know, you'd have had a different type of monster. You know, if you would have just went go vote. You know, you know. At least we would have made it to the slaughterhouse in a different kind of car. At least we would be in the frying pan instead of the skillet. We'll still be burning, but it'll have a different name. Come on, people. Come on. It's all right. Stop identifying with that ego. It's all right to realize, because again, your pride and your ego is what's stopping you from doing further knowledge and research and stopping you from identifying with what you're identifying with. You know, just let the pride go, let the ego go. Like, it's all right to realize, damn, the government been duping me for over 60 or 50 years, you know, over 40 years. Damn, so all that time I was voting and this and that, like, you know, it's all right. We all done been duped. And I mean, again, you got some brethren and sisters who, again, duped on the, not even say dupe, but dealing with a situation where, you know, they hormones is completely different due to being pumped by fetal estrogen and you know, parents being on drugs and stuff like that. Because again, we are beings that come from a time, like, matter of fact, you see this, the Sentinel Island people, they ain't got Wi-Fi and poisonous prescriptions, and they've been holding that spot down for the longest. They have some of the eldest DNA on this planet. That's a fact. It's a fact that they don't deal with Christianity, because they just showed that they don't deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a fact that they've been taking care of themselves and surviving without all this bullshit that they've been pushing on us and making it seem like we need to survive. It's a fact that when you stressed out, it's a fact that worrying about time and having a calendar, what today is, or what time it is, I gotta go to work today. That's stress. That's a fact. And they create this society like this on purpose to stress you out. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And so parents are going through all these conditions, all these chemicals, and having children that's getting passed to the children. That's a fact. You know? Like, and to just be, you know, on that vibe, well, I do understand. You know, there are androgynous beings, you know, there's a, you know, androgynous energy outside of our human experience on this earthly plane, you know. Like, I understand that some souls may be connected to that androgynous energy. I understand that. But that's very few. You know, that's not a whole population of people. Because and two, the way they promote, you know, again, like these situations, you would think that, you know, this was the majority of the population or something. But again, it's just all... It's all tickling people's egos, you know, to set up a vibe of divide and conquer. So heterosexual and homosexual people could be fussing, you know, and they would be in their identities, overly identifying, instead of stepping back and being objective, like, hey, y'all, look, look the game they're trying to run, you know. Again, they knew of this vibe. I don't know if that's in the book Art of War, but for sure, you know, you trying to, like, before I, like, say if there's a strong ass army that outnumber me, you know, and we always talk about this, y'all. Work smart, not hard. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna find a way to get this big group of people fighting against each other before I plan my attack. I'm gonna send a little mole in there to start some shit to have everybody beefing. Well, it's all about this. Well, no, it's all about that. And then they go to fighting about this and that, and then the fight go to them shit killing each other, and then that's when we could creep in. You know what I'm saying? And bam, we barely have to fight because they done killed off each other. You know, like that's the name of the game, y'all. Again, nobody. You know, you would only have to be in your ego of being homosexual to feel like, oh, they're trying to take away our rights by this, and like, no, nobody's not like, come on, you know, be real, you know. It's time to stop being childish about this, you know, really. You know, again, and that's why, again, unconditional love and not being in our ego, because only unconditional love, like, will let you know, hey, like, you got a booger in your nose, like, you might want to take that out, you know. I could lie to you to be nice, you know, but that would be being inauthentic, you know. So I have to just keep it real and let you know that you got a nasty ass boogie in your nose. But now that you know, you could take it out, and now you know it's look cleaner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, sometimes we got to tell people about, you know, certain things straight up, you know, because we care about them. In order for them to help themselves, you know, we got to let them know, like, you know, I could lie to my mom and tell her, you know, like, oh, it's okay for you to eat those unhealthy foods, you know, but I'm, you know, by being nice, I'm not being authentic, and I'm harming her because now she eating unhealthy things is gonna harm her. Compared to me being authentic and showing unconditional love and being like, hey, you know, I gotta be authentic and say that food is very unhealthy. Of course, do what you do, it's your choice, but I gotta let you know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, it's about being authentic and not lying and being inauthentic with this over niceness, you know. Like, that doesn't heal wounds, you know, being authentic. The only way to heal wounds is to have a proper diagnosis. Proper diagnosis meaning you're being authentic about what you're seeing. You know, you have to keep it real about what you're seeing in order to give a proper diagnosis. You can't be in denial and ignore, you know, a situation, or be inauthentic about a situation and get a proper diagnosis. It's not going to happen, you know. So again, in order for us to be truly, you know, authentic with each other, you know, we, you know, or should I say, we stepping in this vibe of being truly authentic, you know, and you know, not being overly, you know, and I say overly nice, but just nice in general to a blind place, you know. Like, well, let me just be nice, you know. Since I know some homosexual people be in their ego, let me just be nice and not, like, no, you know, like, you need to, like, again, that's one of the things I got straight with my video at all times. Like, I'm gonna step on the toes of egos, because that's what we, you know, that's what has the world in the fucked up place now, is people trying to overly identify with a certain position instead of identifying with their soul being on a human experience, you know. It's like, you're not that fucking identity, you know. You're not your job. You know, that's why some cops don't want to be righteous right now, because they identify with their jobs. Like, I'm a cop, you know. You know, so because they overly identify with that, they won't, you know, they're not letting it go. You know what I'm saying? And in the detriment to their soul and the harm to others, they like, oh no, you know, I'm not. Even though I see what they got us doing is fucked up. You know, this is what I identify as. I'm a cop. I'm not a soul on a human experience. I'm a cop. I'm not a soul on a human experience. I'm homosexual. You know, I'm not a soul on a human experience. I'm melanated. I'm just a black person. I'm not a soul on a human experience. I'm just a white person. KKK, protect my bodysuit. You know. as if that's the end all be all. Of course, we protect our bodysuits. Again, you know, I just put that in as a little joke, but you know, not overly identifying with our egos. So, you know, like that's why, you know, again, people pushing a lie about Jesus are holding on to this lie about Jesus. Why? Because I identify as a Catholic person. I identify as a Christian and not as a soul on the human experience. You know, identity, identify, identity, identify. You know, again, it's a balance to our experience. You know, there is a healthy level of ego. Again, like I said earlier, you know, enough to where, you know, we want to make sure we're nourishing our bodysuit. So I have to identify with this bodysuit enough to know that when I feel the stomach growling within this bodysuit, I know to not hand the spoon of food to somebody else's mouth and to put it in mine, you know. But not to the extreme where my soul is being, you know, my soul ascension is being dampened and tampered with because I'm over-identifying with, you know, some type of ideal or, you know, sexual preference, you know, over-identifying with, you know, these little different identities, you know. And that's why, you know, again, that's why it's so much about us, you know, breaking down the egoic mind, because that's also the part of us that stops us from learning higher, you know, from attaining higher knowledge, because it's over-identifying. When you over-identifying as a Christian or a certain little aspect, then you don't want to learn or do anything else, you know, you don't want to, and then you're stubborn and overly prideful and stubborn about your growth, you know. It's like, I've been taught that all my life, and I know my mom ain't crazy. You know, they took us to church and this and that, and I love my mom. I don't care what nobody say, this and that. Even if, and again, like trying to reason with somebody who, you know, sharing knowledge. I mean, or should I say sharing knowledge in a way that deals with reason. You know, if a person doesn't acknowledge reason, you know, then you speaking knowledge to them is like you know, trying to give medicine to a dead body, you know, because literally that's what it is. That's why we call it in this situation like people, you know, like zombies, like, because literally that's what it's turning into. Like, you're not even acknowledging your intelligence. You just, whatever somebody told me since I was born, I'm going with it and I ain't questioning it. You know, just like a zombie. Like, soon as a person get bit, you know, from the beginning, they're like, a zombie don't ask no questions. What, you ever saw a zombie movie where a zombie was like, well, hold on, why am I a zombie? Like, how did I get here? Like, you'll never see those zombie movie with a zombie like, wait, hold on, I need to question, why am I just walking around like, like, I need to really question that, you know what I'm saying? But and two, because zombie movies also personify, they put it in your face that the zombie movies personify, you know, America, personify what they trying to do to the masses, you know. So when you're in zombie mode, you're not even, you know, paying attention. Again, it's like administering medicine to a dead body. You know, a person don't pay attention to reason. Well, again, I bring up, so say for what I mean by that, if I bring up the fact that, and this is facts, Constantine edited the Bible, you know, with 2 Nicene councils, and tried to turn Christ into a historical fact figure, knowing that he existed way beforehand. You know, that's a fact. You know, it's and it's a fact that he took out the book of Apocrypha, the book of Enoch and Apocrypha. You know, that's a fact. It's a fact that they had 16 crucified saviors before the Jesus story. That's a fact. You know, it's a fact that the Catholic Church used to go on crusades to kill people if they wasn't down with the Catholic religion. So basically, that's not a spiritual experience. That's not people like, oh, I just feel the vibe of, you know, Jesus and Christian. Like, no, they didn't know about no Jesus till somebody came force it upon them. So these are all facts, and with these facts presented, you know, say for you present that to somebody and then they still like, well, oh no, this, then you, if they, after presenting that, if they don't, you know, deal with that reason, then from there, you you trying to speak to them is again like trying to administer medicine to a dead body. They're not even acknowledging their intelligence in that moment. You know, they're not even. I don't even want to be, but I mean, yeah, dead. You know, like some people, some people die. You know, at an early age, but they don't hop into the casket until 70 or 80. You know, some people die at 18, but don't hop into the casket till later on. You know, like where they just a walking dead person, just whatever people tell me, whatever Again, you start to see the importance of us on our spiritual growth, not following and listening to any and all, just everybody else and stuff like that. It's like you gotta deal with your own internal intelligence, your own intuition and intellect or intuition and logic, you know. But you know that it's like a dead body, like a corpse. But again, gotta be like the news and share this information, man. Because again, we constantly gonna be seeing it a lot, soon. And two, they're gonna have to be, because people are becoming more and more aware. It's gonna be less obvious of how they're gonna try to be, which I don't think. Like I feel like that's why I know the jig is up. It's like it's becoming way and way more obvious. Of course, it's because a lot of us, I know for sure with myself, having that, first eye open, that Anya chakra, that first eye open, that pineal gland open, so you don't, the brainwashing bullshit that they, always do is not the same. Like you see clean through that shit, because I remember even before I got mine fully open, like at the beginning stages, like which surprised me because with ESPN and sports, I always liked my sports heavy, but it was just too, like I was able to read in between the lines just too much of how like media have these tactics of like like again how I brought up again like with Kevin Hart, where the media is like the slave master trying to spank the slave in front of everybody, like you didn't comply with what this is what's gonna happen to all you slaves if you don't listen to this situation. The media does that to people. They do it with Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby. They done did it and continuously do it. Anybody who's not following the agenda get a spanking by the media. AKA the one of the overseers or the master on the plantation. Well, really not the master on the plantation, but one of the workers. The master somewhere ducked off. Matter of fact, shit, the master of the plantation, not even really a human. It's who Queen Elizabeth and the Jesuits and the Pope, the behind the scenes Pope, not the one they showing, but the being that they listening to is who running the shit. But again, gotta raise awareness, y'all. Because if you're in your ego, you're not getting the big picture. If you sitting here making this about homosexuality and gay rights and this and that and other, if that's what it's about for you right now, then you're not, you're missing it. But to each his own. Maybe you'll get it when you get initiated to that conscious level of being able to see. And that's not to knock y'all clown you, because we definitely don't want to. That's another thing. What I realize, what makes it worse on our end, to not bash people and make them, of course, clowningly, I'm gonna make you, I'm gonna make certain situations seem stupid, but not point directly to you as a person. Just like, cause say for instance, even the stuff that I done fell victim to, I make myself look like, bro, I was stupid for that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I do it to myself, I'm gonna do it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? If I clown my own ego, if my high self get on my ego the way it does, then goddamn it, as above, so below. I don't know that, but same reflection. But again, just paying attention to how the media, is used as this spanking system. If you're not obliging, we're gonna spank you. Matter of fact, I never watched this situation, but I remember Brother Rich bringing up a situation where they had a little young brethren, little melanated brethren had something happen, and he was righteous in whatever he did, but then they try to get him to apologize. He was like, forgive the lady or something like that, and he's like, oh no, I ain't forgiving her, this and that, for doing, because she did some fucked up shit or something. But then they brought him on TV, they brought him on a straight hand show or something, and then asked him again, like, do you forgive, or you should, like, again, the brethren just said and showed that, like, I'm not forgiving her. But they put him on TV again. Slave man, well, not slave man, the overseer in the field, the worker in the field, whipping on a slave, like, that's that's the media, like, we're gonna break your ass down. You gonna comply to this shit and apologize or accept her apology in front of everybody to show that you giving in to this bullshit. So they asked him again on that straight, and he kind of had that vibe of, like, which again, I'm getting this from Brother Rich, and like, had the vibe of, like, well, all right, kind of like, well, yeah, all right, I forgive her, like, because y'all putting all these cameras in my face and pushing me, and kind of like, again, in being a youngster, you're not say, yeah, I mean, I used to having all them cameras and people forcing you to do stuff that, what I'm saying, like, so again, you see how the media is like, like this little whipping stage in essence, but gotta be aware of this, and we're gonna continuously see it. Whoever's not down with their program is, they're gonna pull on their little stage and spank. I try to spank, because again, it's try to spank, because it's all on how much you give into that. Because matter of fact, Kevin Hart on this G shit, like, well, fuck all. So it's not affecting them like that. And plus, too, because we are more knowledgeable about this, again, more awareness, stops a person from being bashed. So, like, say, for instance, I saw Snoop and DL Hughley, like, fucking right on, my brethren, you know what I'm saying? So when we out here supporting, too, with awareness, then they not allowed to make one of us look bad, because we here for each other too, on that level. Like, oh no, that's some bullshit. They trying to spank them on some, promote our agenda, or we gonna spank you, like, nah, we ain't far. Again, now is a vibrate. We're not continuously playing around with that bullshit. It's done. And again, to the point where anybody who don't get it, you probably probably, you may get it at some point, hopefully, or you may be a part of the situation and don't even realize. But peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future, not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace.